Welcome to Some Good Mountain Bike News. My name is Alex Coleman, and this new and completely original series will attempt to not only entertain you, but also show you a few of the incredibly cool things mountain bikers have been up to in this period of isolation. For our first segment, we go to my co-anchor Sebastian Cowdrish for a look at his new bike.
Hello everybody, Sebastian here from Everyday Biking, and today I am picking up my new bike, my 2019 Trek Cross Go 8. I got orange pedals with orange grips, SRAM NX Eagle, 1x12 drivetrain, sweet bike, dropper seat post, everything you need on a very capable trail hardtail.
Thank you, Sebastian. That is some fantastic news. I cannot wait to be back on the trails with you. And now we turn to you guys. This week we head to Instagram to find out what mountain bikers and mountain bike companies have been up to in this unprecedented time. Industry 9, known for their high-quality custom and hand-built cycling components, have switched gears and set a goal to manufacture and supply 1 million protective masks and utilize their supply of over 100 CNC machines to manufacture machining components for ventilators. Truly incredible. Thank you, Industry 9. Now, we all know mowing the lawn is incredibly boring. Luckily, Stefan Mueller has found a solution. Take a look at this. An ingenious solution. Personally, my mom doesn't let me ride my bike or build trails in our backyard, but those who can have been going ham. Jay Boyson has been using this time to build absolutely humongous features like the ones on your screen right now, or Davey Simon, who has built his very own pandemic pump track in his backyard. Of course, these aren't the only backyard trails we've come across so far. Here are some honorable mentions. First, this incredibly cool backyard punk track from Damien Stone of New Zealand, and this backyard jump line from Isaac Sherbino of Ontario. Mom, listen, I promise, okay? I won't go that big, okay? Just a berm. No, not even a berm. A jump, small jump, just a small jump. That's it. Come on, please. And now we turn to Sebastian for a look at the weather.
It's very nice out!
Thank you, Sebastian, for that incredibly detailed report. And now is the moment we've all been waiting for. He recently hit 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, his most popular video amassing over 800,000 views, known for his absolutely hilarious videos and love for craft beer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Bobo from Biking with Bobo. Hello.
What is going on, dude? How you doing?
No, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for coming on. It's a huge honor.
Well, I appreciate the invite on, and it seems like a very cool concept that you have going on here, riffing off of John Krasinski's some good news, and I dig the concept, and stoked that you reached out and invited me.
All right, so how are things in North Carolina right now with the whole situation?
Right. I mean, it's kind of hard to not start with the coronavirus, the COVID-19, the pandemic that is really came in and just sideswiped all of our plans, right? But
yeah,
North Carolina's pretty good. I mean, if you were to look outside, it's just a beautiful day, and it looks like the world is just ready to party. It looks like there, mountain bike trails, kayaking, rock climbing would all be just festive as it gets at this point in the year with just how beautiful it looks outside. But yet, things are not quite right. So the pandemic sucks. It sucks everywhere. I think everyone's been affected pretty hard by it, but we're grateful. We have a lot of gratitude that we live in North Carolina because we're kind of away from things. And considering my wife and I already work from home, it has not really affected us. It hasn't had near as much impact as probably most of the world.
And is YouTube your full-time job?
Yeah, YouTube is my full-time job.
So then you're not being hugely impacted money wise with this going on.
Well, as a YouTuber, you're virtually a freelancer in a lot of ways. I used to work in freelance in the film industry, and I know exactly what it's like to come into a lot of work and get a lot of money at one point, but then a month from now, the money might dry up. You may not be getting as much, as many sponsored videos or many views. So it is it is sort of more like the freelance world, but right now, yes, the income has been great. Actually, it's been more than sustainable. I'm super fortunate for all the sponsored episodes that have came my way, because that's primarily between Patreon and sponsored episodes. That's pretty much how I make a living. So yeah, we're grateful for all the money that's been coming in and the support.
So what have you been up to in quarantine? What have you been doing to keep busy?
Pacing back and forth like a mad person. Like I think most of the world, itching to get out, and I've mostly just been focusing on what most married people have been focusing on: renovating and upgrading their house, staining the deck, lame shit like that. But trying to also, I'm at this weird crossroads where I've been cooped up in the house for months at this point because I am still recovering from shoulder surgery from my worst crash ever. And so I was kind of already used to being cooped up, but man, it's like at the end of a 6-month recovery, I'm like itching so bad to get out and ride, and I'm getting closer to that. So all this kind of happened, and it's just been keeping me indoors, which is fine because I still have a month before I'm supposed to ride the bike. But I've just been, because I can't ride, been focusing on other creative avenues and trying to come up with some fresh content. That's been the focus of my. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
you froze up for just a second there.
yeah, it's probably my internet. We're out in the mountains and just it's not good.
It's okay.
I don't know where I lost you at, but I've been mostly staying around the house, trying to, because I can't ride, trying to come up with new creative solutions to that, and just rolling the dice. If I'm inspired to come up with what a lot of people would think would be random and weird content at times, I've just been focusing on that, not worrying about if it's what people want or not, and just like saying, hey, this would be a fun video, let's just do it. So I've been focused on creative outlets to distract me from the real world, I guess.
I was watching some of your more recent videos before we had this conversation. I think some of the stuff you've been creating recently has been really, really good. Especially, I really like the bikes that talk to each other. Those videos that you do, I think you're probably the one that came up with that, and I think you're the only one that's really doing that. I think it's it's really hilarious. It's really good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think I always joked when I had my Cannondale that he had the voice of Arnold Schwarzenegger and that he drank more beer than me. And then just one day, I just decided to do a bike check with my old Cannondale, who I named Prometheus, and I just put all those ingredients together, and it was a hit back then. And I've often wondered when it will die, when people will get, sufficiently tired of seeing it. But people always love the bike videos. I plan on keeping the bike saga going for at least the foreseeable future. I don't know when I'll ever stop doing that. And it's kind of fun because if anyone's out there listening who wants to give me a free bike, if I ever acquire a bike sponsor, one of the fun things about that is I'm coming up with a name and a character and a voice for the new bikes. So definitely a trend I plan on maintaining throughout the channel for sure.
So when Sebastian and I started following you, that was back in 2017, and I did some digging, and at that point you had 2,000. You just hit 2,000 subscribers when Sebastian and I first found you.
Man, so you guys have been around since like the beginning, because like 2,000
Pretty
subscribers.
much.
That was when I
Yeah.
started really taking it seriously. I was like, man, because it becomes an addiction. Like, so be warned, be careful, kids. It's like you get that first 1,000 and it starts to like, ooh, man, this is fun. I like that people like the content, and then you hit that second 1,000. It snowballs from there. That's cool. That's really cool. I was just talking about this the other day with No Breaks Nate, my buddy Nate. He joined the channel. Like, we became friends right around the time when I hit the 2,000 subscriber mark. Might have even had less than that when he started riding with me. But then Nate and I just sort of became the channel for a very long time. When I first started riding with him, the guy didn't say any more than 3 words, and I thought, this is not going to work. But then it became apparent that I never shut up. So to have a partner that doesn't speak on camera was a perfect dynamic. Well, that's cool, man. You guys have been around for a while.
And now you just hit 550, sorry,
50.
50,000 just like
Yeah.
the yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. That's crazy. I never would have dreamt that I could have built such a following in a pretty short time. I mean, yeah, I've been doing this for a few years, and some other people have grown their channels to much larger numbers than that. But to hit 50,000 subscribers in general is just quite a milestone. So yeah, yesterday when that happened, finally, I was super stoked. Super stoked.
So some people, the people that I've ever talked to that are YouTubers that are like your size, they always say like the first 1,000 subscribers is always the toughest. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Because you're kind of in no man's land. Like, it's daunting how much there is to learn from so many different angles. Like, I was a filmmaker. I worked in the film industry, and I kind of rode the coattails of all my knowledge from working in film for a long time, and I neglected to learn certain things like thumbnails, how to make a good thumbnail, what titles work in the YouTube sphere, what content people generally want. And this was just this past week. Like, I just took a tutorial on thumbnails today. Literally, I'm always learning, and I always think back to that first 1,000. I'm like, man, to someone with not a film background who doesn't know much about cameras or putting together, assembling anything like a show, it's got to be even more daunting because you know nothing. So when you're at that phase, you have to rely on your instincts. You have to be yourself as much as you can, and not give up. I think the deeper you get into the game, the harder it is to let go. But before you hit that 1,000 mark, it's easy to say, this isn't working, I'm going to quit. Because oftentimes people always think they have all these challenges ahead of them that are keeping them from their dreams. But usually the biggest challenge for anyone to overcome is themselves. And I can understand why that first 1,000, it's kind of like the test. Like, if you can make it past 1,000, then you could probably make it.
So for YouTube channels that just may be starting out or are under 1,000 subscribers, what would be your best piece of advice for them to help grow their channel?
The best advice is to put out, and this is some advice from Paul the Punter himself, and it's advice I totally agree with. Everyone wants to know what the mystery is to being successful on YouTube, and beyond the obvious things like making really good eye-catching thumbnails. Like, the thumbnail it's like an itch you have to scratch. It should make the person click on the video. Clickbait. Go all out, because if you don't get them to the video, then all your hard work was for nothing. But it really, my best advice is just what Paul the Punter said, and that is make the best content possible. Don't worry about anything else. If you truly make entertaining and good videos, and you get better at it, your following will be there. They will stick with you. And to not sweat the little things, like when subscribers roll in and then they roll out. Common thing. It's going to happen. The people that subscribe to you and stick around, they're your true fans. The people that subscribe and then leave next week, they weren't going to stick around anyways. So don't worry about them. But just put out good videos. And I actually used to teach film production. I used to teach camera stuff, and I used to teach screenwriting. storytelling. And we always said the same thing, that like if you have interesting characters and a good story, it's all you need. It doesn't matter what gear you have. Don't let that be a limitation either. A lot of people think, oh, if I just had that camera, it would look cinematic. Or, oh, if I just had blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. You can use your cell phone and tell a good story these days. Fact. So just focus on that. And it's like every time you do a project, you're going to get better at the next one. You're going to learn something. You're going to carry it forward. All filmmakers are in a constant state of learning. Even the best filmmakers, when they go out today and film, they will learn something new. And I just encourage you guys to learn something new whenever you can. Like, it might be unpractical to be like, I need to learn something every day. But I learned a great deal today from just this basic thumbnail tutorial. I look up stand-up comedy tutorials. I look up screenwriting tutorials. I'm reading a book right now called Save the Cat. It's a book about how to write feature films. It all applies. And it's just good to continue your education. And I'm excited to get back to more normalcy on my channel, whatever normal might be on my channel. I'm about a month away from getting back on the bike and riding again. And I'm so stoked, because before this surgery, I was feeling good about my content, but I've learned so much over these 6 months not being able to ride. I've been watching a lot of tutorials. I can't wait to apply everything that I've learned to my new style of vlog when I can get back to riding. So that should inspire you right there, man. Just keep learning, keep asking advice from people, and be brave. Like, don't hesitate to try an idea. You might meet adversity. Someone might say, that's a bad idea. They don't know what they're talking about. Not necessarily. The best way to fail is to do it. So be prepared to fail a lot, because yeah, it hurts when a video doesn't do as well as you want it to, but you learn from it. I remember when I was at 200 subscribers, and I was super stoked on the progress of the channel at the time. And I think you just end up having this like connection to what it is that you do as a YouTuber, and you just kind of know, yeah, I think that this is something I can do. So just, stay on track, stay on course, and don't give up. That's been my daily affirmation. It helps these days when you're trying to do something big in life. I always tell myself pretty much every day, trust the process, remain patient, don't give up. Simple as that.
Great advice. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey,
today.
Thanks for having me on, dude. I appreciate it. And I'm always stoked to see anyone starting up their own channel. I wish you all the luck. Wish you guys all the luck. And it warms my heart to know that you guys have watched me since 2,000 subs, man. That's a long time.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, man.
What a truly inspiring conversation. I hope you guys took just as much out of that as I did. Thank you for joining us today. Let us know in the comments section if you want us to do an episode 2. For now, my name is Alex, and this has been a lot of fun. John Krasinski, please don't sue us.